Strega, and I'm here to give you your masculine, feminine, and non-binary energy update for today, Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. We are going to get started on that update in the next few minutes, but if you would like to get on the list for today, the list, as always, is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps. Those are pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We are also doing 2 giveaways today. Our first reading giveaway is going to be a reading giveaway when we get to 50K likes. So make sure that you are tapping that screen. We will get to 50K in no time. The other reading giveaway we'll be doing today is a reading giveaway for the highest gifter between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. So I wish you a lot of luck if you're participating in that reading as well. Prior to beginning today's energy update, I will be giving a brief recap on what we've been seeing in the cards over the last few days. Now, if you would like to catch those full readings, you can find them over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find them over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find them as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my stack. But before we begin today, most important question, scale of 1 to 10, how are we doing? There are no wrong answers. We are continuing through what I like to best describe as the apex of a very prolonged retrograde season. We do have some planets that will be moving out of retrograde shortly, but in the moment, we're just in the thick of it. I want you to be patient with yourself right now, and I want you to kind of remember like some of the key messages that have been coming through during this period. First and foremost, your patience is a gift for someone who recognizes that they receive it. Because I hate to bring this forward, but it's kind of interesting because it's a conversation that we've effectively been seeing in relationality to, it's almost like a conversation we've been experiencing right now in this retrograde period upon the dangers of toxic positivity, because it's remembering that patience is a gift that we give one another. Because, and I keep on getting, a gift is not latent. It's not something we're giving someone that they're not aware that we're giving them. And often we sometimes, and it's interesting too, and I need to stress this, and I actually want to bring up something that occurred even in my readings that is important to notate. Now, one of the things about it is I often look towards astrology for reference points. I always stress, first and foremost, I'm not an astrologer. I'm effectively an energy reader. And I often look towards the astrology to understand deeper what I'm pulling forth from the cards. Now, this is really interesting because I was under the impression that there were only 2 planets that were effectively not in retrograde. But again, and this is what's interesting, Mars is also not in retrograde. And I couldn't even see that for the last few days. But this is what I mean in relationality to the message behind the thing about, and it's funny too, because even in the concept by which I was looking at something, like the perception by which I was seeing it, the planet, it was hidden behind another planet. And I feel like it's really important to kind of bring through that allegory because it's a conversation of what can often happen in the realm of being too deep in our own feelings, right? Our feelings sometimes hide or they sometimes mask other feelings, right? And it's interesting because I feel like there's something about this particular retrograde experience that helps us kind of unpack, if you will, the difference between the feelings that are within us that feel authentic, right? Like what's really within the self versus what often feels like it is performative. It often feels like the modality by which we feel we need to address things. And what's hard about that is, and this is what we have to talk about in the space of working through like performativeness, is it sometimes feels like it's hard to energetically convey the gravitas of what it is that is within the self. And I bring all of this up because particularly and especially one of the things that we've been seeing that has been happening right now, and particularly for the energy that I'm reading. And I've been calling it, here's the thing. I've even like during the last few days, I've been hesitant to even call the energy in separation, because it feels like a devaluation of the process of working into the space of solitude, right? For a lot of the energy right now that is not in partnership, even healing from the difference between the identification point, that partnership itself is the identification of being separated or not separated. I feel like this is a lot of the energy that is working upon feeling whole, because often the way that we enter into healthy partnerships is by taking holistic approaches to the experience of being in solitude. I've been starting to read back into the frequencies of masculine, feminine, and mind binary over the last few days, because even there we see that there's so much of this energy right now that is in working through different modalities of hermit mode. And that is often when I see a lot of hermit energy around things, it's working through the context of appreciating the nature of silence, or the ability to find peace within silence. Now, this can be very difficult for those that come from more trauma informed backgrounds, because when one is coming from a trauma environment and one feels silence, you hear alarm bells instead of peace, right? It can sometimes create that energetic anxiety in the self. And I'm bringing all of this forward right now because it's speaking a lot about the fact that I think that there's something really important that we see. And I will bring this up because we're going to talk about this. Energy like this is either modalities, and I feel like it's very, very polarizing. That's why we've got, like, again, we can name the planets that are not in retrograde right now, and it can tell us a lot of the shape by which the work that we're working through. The major planets that are not in retrograde right now, effectively being like Venus, Pluto, and Mars, which is often the space. And here's the thing: love and hate taking the shape of the same thing if you're not doing the heavy work of investigating why one feels the way that one feels. It's not just enough to say that you feel something and then tell another person they have to honor it. Because when you are not doing the work of processing the emotions, you yourself are not honoring the fact that you have them. It's the difference between the conversation of honoring emotions, by which one is able to kind of sort through them, to be able to articulate to another person what you are feeling, to effectively have one's needs met, versus the feeling of another person just experiencing the spillover, right? And you can sometimes tell this when you're having conversations with someone, right? Like somebody being like, I need you to hold this for a minute, right? Like the feelings that feel like they don't have a place to go, versus someone being like, can you check this for me? Am I right in feeling this? I just need to double check this. And I wouldn't be surprised right now if you're in some kind of modality by which you're experiencing both. Now, this is having a different impact depending on where you find yourself on the frequency cycles. And we're going to start right now for the energy of these moon relationships. And it was interesting too, because it was taking me a long time to be able to understand why these energies are. And it's funny too, because they're deconstructing even as they're moving closer towards one another. And that's why they're like completely opposite from the temperance relationships that we saw that were happening just a few months ago. Because those temperance relationships, they were like wonder twin energy. All right. They came together and they stuck like glue. It's like boom. These relationships right now are not doing that. Okay. But the reason is, and the major message I was getting on this is, a lot of the energy right now working in solitude is working on healing from pedestalized partnership. And what does it feel like when one is recovering from a pedestalized partnership? It's awful. It's sometimes the worst thing, because it's the space by which everything was amazing, right? Like almost someone holding like a too high evaluation of the self, right? And you can sometimes see when someone's in that modality, right? When the arrival point where another person doesn't see us clearly, and we recognize and we identify the fact that nothing we do is ever going to navigate another person's high expectations of us. It's a reminder on why idolatry is so hurtful, especially when it comes to partnerships. Because when we're idolatizing in relationship, we're effectively pedestalizing partnership. We're not building into the potentiality of where a relationship can go, right? We're not building into the excitement and the direction of the relationship, but rather putting all of our concentration on what we expect from the counterpart. And I keep on hearing healthy relationships are built upon the potential in relationality to the destination, not in the exaltation of the counterpart. Because when we're in the space, when we're exalting relation with partner instead of relationship, then it sets us up for disaster. Because when we're building into that, that is again, that is the force and the power of our energetic projection. And often, and this is why I keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships, they're basically trying to put their ego back together, because it's almost the space by which another person, like, built into the space where everything was great when they began. And then they kept on saying, "You're disappointing me and you're disappointing me." But understanding in that space by which another person says, "How am I disappointing you?" Being like, the expectations I created in my brain, right? Like the expectations that don't exist anywhere beyond the fabrication of another person's psyche. But this is why we do that work. And I keep on getting, and this is what's beautiful about these moon relationships that are coming together, which is talking about the fact that when we come towards each other in a space by which we are allowing the context of being able to see one another, right? When we don't let our illusions of each other cloud our judgment, then we allow for the possibility of something truly incredible to happen, because it allows us to be able to see something that's beyond even our wildest possibilities. But that's why, and that's what's so hard right now for a lot of these relationships that are coming together, because I keep on getting, there's a little bit of this glacier effect in the space by which the energy is coming towards each other, right? They're trying to be as unfiltered as possible, working through the space of understanding that when we're operating in an unfiltered way, as long as our heart's good, then that unfiltered effectively protects us for anything that's not for us. That for a lot of the energy, doing that work or working through those circumstances, like having those moments and almost pulling back, right? Being worried that they've gone too far and another person encouraging them. They're relearning and affirming each other. But there's also, I keep on seeing, there's a lot of emotional, like, it's interesting because it's almost like the energy that's letting go of a lot of emotional damage, because they're learning, they're finding in new relationship the most important space, which is not the space by which another person tries to exalt them, but the space by which another person is leaving room for them to learn, leaving room for them to grow, right? They're working through the understanding of the misconception that we have that humility is somehow associated with embarrassment. Humility, the true act of humility, is being able to perceive the world in the space of being a constant student. And that adaptability, like the shape by which we're allowed, like this, the shape by which we allow each other, that I keep wondering, the space by which we allow ourselves, that the margin of error that becomes energetically blessed, is the space by which we look upon things with a point of interest, instead of, I keep on hearing, instead of like wincing in relationality to the egoic journey, or to the journey by which we want to, like, I keep wondering, like the journey by which we want to like feel like the energetic shattering of the egoic space. So there's something really beautiful and restorative that is happening in these modalities. But what I keep on hearing, it's patient energy, right? They're coming towards each other in a very slow way, because there's something about that slowness that they're articulating upon the fact that you can't rush a healing journey. It's almost like they recognize the fact that they're finding each other in a space by which they're learning to energetically trust again. Now, this brings us to the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now. And these are effectively the temperance relationships. And those temperance relationships were coming together between the time they were coming together between the time of the Uranus stationing retrograde up until about the time of the solstice period. This energy, completely different, completely different, completely different from what we've been identifying in terms of those moon relationships. These were fortified partnerships. These energies, I keep on getting, like, again, it's a lot of that like wonder twin energy. with these temperance relationships because it was the adaptability and the understanding that they do the work so that others don't have to. And what's hard about that right now, and I'm telling you right now, the difficulty, I want to I want to send a gift basket to everybody who's going through these temperance situations right now, because the force of their own ability not to touch something that it would be very, 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 very healing to their own journey to touch or to mess with in relationality to the past of the counterpart. I keep on getting the difficulty about these relationships is having to uncover something about the counterpart's past that sits directly on the trauma trigger of the counterpart. It rests directly. It would feel so good. And it wouldn't just be the fact that it would feel good for the energy to be able to do something that feels protective for counterpart. It would feel indulgent to their journey. But that's what's so important about those relationships or about those circumstances. Because if the word indulgent is rising up, if they're recognizing that it's something that feels energetically indulgent, right? They're understanding that it's not necessarily towards the benefit of the counterpart. It would just feel good to the egoic journey of the self. And that's why I keep on seeing that this energy is doing a great job in terms of becoming the champion. Like, this is the sound of them becoming the champion for their counterpart, because they're not just working through the space. Like, they're feeling that the desire to want to go back to a past version of self, to energetically address something. It would feel so good, but they're not, because they're holding the healing journey of the partner sacrosanct. They're not going to have to make someone energetically relive something that they've already energetically healed from, due to the fact that it would feel luxurious for them to be able to embark on that. And so I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, building into the sanctified relationship, just pulling that energy and making the present even better than the past. It's not easy, because I keep on getting this retrograde. It's like it's a lot of that desire to kind of want to go backwards in that way. But what I keep on seeing is this is the energy that is just refocusing and reorienting in relationality to keeping their hands full of the present as the way to heal from past trauma. Even if I can see the energy being like, even if it feels so good, it's like, I see the energy being like, it would feel, but that's why I keep on seeing, and they're working through a Neptune lesson, because I keep on seeing that the energy is focusing upon that observation as it relates to what feels healthy. But also, it's interesting too, because I keep on reading, like, there's a lot of this fortification there in terms of the energy saying, I won't I won't go back there, but God, but make no mistake, don't mistake kindness for weakness. Don't allow the arrival point, by which I keep on seeing, it's like them almost articulating to partner, and it's funny too, because it was a conversation that we saw that was coming through about the fact that we don't do things for each other except in this scenario. It's the only time that by which point we say, like, I'm doing this for you, feels like it's healthy, because we never want to have them. And this is what happens, like, when Uranus is moving back into Taurus in retrograde out of Gemini, right? We never want to be in a relationship that we say, I do this for you, unless unless the caveat being, unless we are upscaling our healing journey, we're doing something we know is good for us for the benefit of counterpart, is what I keep on seeing. It's like the energy that's saying, I'm doing this for you in the best way possible, because they're saying, I'm being my best self for you. This is me on good behavior, is what I keep on getting. Now, this brings us to the energy that is deep within divine union right now. And for our purposes, again, we always read to the energy that most recently entered divine union. And those were the magician relationships that were coming together between the time of the solstice period this summer up until the time of Mercury and Venus stationing direct behind Neptune, which was happening, I want to say, around March. My dears, I want to, like, hold your hand when you say this. I am sorry you're going through that ridiculous stuff. You know that's not your problem. That's all I can say about it. Because I got to tell you that I keep on getting the fact that a lot of these magician relationships right now, You're going through a maturation lesson. And often the space when like, and here's the thing, having to be the mature one is not fun. Is what I keep on but it's not about and this is why I keep on hearing the magicians are getting some wisdom brought in. They're becoming wizened magicians. But the reason is because I keep on seeing that while they have been in partnership before, they've never been centered in one like they are centered now. And they've never been centered in one that they like in the way that they're centered now. And that observation, that understanding, that recognition, if you will, of potentially navigating circumstances and experiences with energy outside of relationship that doesn't see that joy as a celebration point. This is often what happens. Like they're working through Saturn lessons, which is the space by which they know they know that they're moving in the right way. And there's nothing more devastating than when you know that you're making better choices and another person is holding them as some feeling of energetic violation, right? And I keep on seeing and I keep on hearing they're working through composure in the modality of that experience. And what does that composure lead them to? If they're open, I keep on hearing the message coming through in that vibration is they're open for a healthy conversation, but you can't chase after a healthy conversation because a healthy conversation that is chased after becomes an unhealthy confrontation. And so I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, like having to work through that. And even like I keep on hearing they're checking their work with each other. They're saying like, am I missing anything? Like I almost see the energy like desperate to find something about the egoic self that they could fix that would mollify a situation. And that's why I keep on saying it's not the fact. It's not the fact that they're literally like they're going around to others around them. They're also in the same like level or degree of maturity, being like, am I missing something here? Like, you know what I mean? They're looking around for that. But even in the space by that, I keep on getting a lot of the energy that's almost I feel like it like that's what's beautiful in healthy partnership. This is the energy saying if there was something wrong about your energetic logic, I would effectively articulate it to you, right? It's like it's entirely the energy of another person navigating a circumstance or situation of saying if there was something wrong in relationality to that articulation point, I'd be the first one to tell you. And so I keep on seeing, like I keep on getting like they're allowing the logic to guide their actions forward and they're holding empathy to things, right? But I keep on seeing, and that's where that message was coming through. Understanding. I keep wondering they're holding hope to situations, but not patience. Understanding that patience is something, our patience becomes a projection, right? When another person doesn't recognize that we're giving it. So I keep on seeing that this is the energy that's making sure that they're doing their best to articulate to others, even in the capacity by which they're doing that work. That is where we find all of the energy prior to beginning today's daily collective read. Now, if you'd like to find that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find it over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find it as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my stack. I also would like to welcome you and encourage you to join us this Thursday at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Sun card. If you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head over to my stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a paid subscriber, have access to, as a paid monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. It's not necessary to catch up. I'll be doing my best to give you an update on everything we've been experiencing or studying prior to that class beginning, but it's a great time to join if you do want to catch up. And you'll have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we've learned and studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my stack, not only will you receive a discount on the whole year's worth of classes, but you will also receive full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library class program, which is access to over 20 hours worth of material in an ever expanding library. You'll also have the option of receiving a mentorship class with me, one-on-one mentorship, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. And you'll have access to my mystic meditation articles, which give you updates on what we've been seeing energetically in the cards on a bi-monthly basis. I look forward to seeing you there. That said, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes. But if you would like to get on the list, as I mentioned, the list is open. Great time to get on the list. You'll be the third person read for. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We are also doing 2 giveaways today. Our first reading giveaway will be a giveaway when we get to 50K likes, so make sure you're tapping that screen and we'll get to 50K in no time. The other reading giveaway we're doing today is a reading giveaway for the highest gifter between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. So I wish you a lot of luck if you're participating in that one as well. I'm going to take a few moments to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. We are also at 5.2K likes. As I mentioned, when we get to 50K, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So thank you for tapping that screen. How are you doing today, Tia? Welcome, self-love. Ivana, thank you so much for the likes. How are you doing today, Abigail? Grand Rising, Ivana, and thank you, Good Vibes, for the likes. Welcome, love. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing today? Thank you as well. And thank you, Unique, for those gifts. Thank you for the compliment, Unique. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you as well, Nicolette. Grand Rising, dear. And thank you as well for confirmation, Alexandria. Hello there, Betty. Thank you for joining us. Also, just a reminder to any of my subscribers who are, or any of my individuals who are on the hold list who would like to get off the list for a reading today, all you need to do is let me know, and I'll be happy to add you back to the list today. Grand Rising Avatar, good to see you as well. Good to see you as well, Celestial. Heather, I'm not sure what you're negating. How are you doing today, Creative? Make sure that one of your comments didn't get removed. As I mentioned, friends, we are going to get, how are you doing today, Melissa? Welcome to those who are joining us across the other apps. Just a reminder, you can also get on the list today via the same methods that I mentioned to the group over on the Clock app. How are you doing? Good Vibes. Yes, you can absolutely send your question over. You can absolutely send your question over there as well. Also, I will point out, if you are a subscriber who does not have access to our Disco channel, please make sure that you do me a favor and hit the orange. We're doing things a little bit different now. Make sure that you're hitting the orange icon and DMing me directly. Anyone who is a subscriber who does not have access to the Disco channel after this live, if you DM me, I will proceed to give you access. But the only way that you can get access right now to that subscriber only Disco channel, if you are a subscriber, is if you DM me. So make sure you do that. I'm also going to be offering a special discount code for the next 2 days for anyone who would like to subscribe to our tarot class program. If you DM me directly from this live, I will also, and mention the fact that you are interested in the classes, I will also send you an additional discount if you are a first-time enroller. So make sure that you go ahead and do that if you would like to if you are either a subscriber who would like access to the Disco, or if you are an individual who is seeking to join our class this week and would like that additional discount. That said, as I mentioned, we are going to get started on today's energy update in the next few minutes. If you would like to get on the list for today, it's a great time to get on the list. You will be the third person read for. 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We are also doing 2 giveaways today. Our first reading giveaway is going to be a free reading for the highest gifter between now and the conclusion of the Daily Collective read. So I wish you a lot of luck if you are participating on that giveaway. The other giveaway is going to be a reading giveaway when we get to 50K likes. So make sure you're tapping the screen and we'll get to 50K in no time. Before we get started today, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got our animal spirit guide card here. I'm going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got this, Sal. Thank you guys for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. And as I mentioned, if you would either like to get on the list for today, you will be the third person read for. And if you are on the hold list and would like to be removed off the hold list and added back to the list today, all you need to do is make sure that you comment in the comments, and I'll be happy to add you back to the list. That said, if you guys could do me a favor and share this live, I would appreciate it. Make sure anyone who would like to catch this reading live is here to receive it. Also helps if I've got my mic attached, if we're going to get started on the podcast. So just bear with me a moment as I do that as well. Be helpful if it turns on. All right, there we go. Perfect. No better time than the present. Why don't we get started? Welcome, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your divine energy check-in, masculine, feminine, and non-binary energy update for today, Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have, we're going to get started first with masculine energy. First, highest priority messages, please. We are going to be using the Game of Thrones deck. That is an interpretation of the Smith-Waite system to read into the masculine energy right now. Can I please have 3 cards for the headspace of the masculine? 2 more, please. Thank you so much. 1 card is hidden. Can I please get 3 cards right now for feminine energy? We're going to be using, again, the Circe Tarot deck for feminine energy. Again, bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. For feminine energy, I've already got 2 out. They're very slippery today. And can I please get 1 more? Thank you. And can I please get 3 cards right now? Perfect. For non-binary energy, headspace, please. We'll be using the Aquarian Tarot deck, which is, again, an interpretation of the Smith-Waite system. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Let's start with masculine energy. First 3 cards we are starting right now in the headspace of the masculine is, oh my goodness, we've got the 2 of coins, 2 of pentacles in its reversal, Ace of wands in its reversal, in combination with the 7 of pentacles in its reversal. This is a continuation of what we were seeing that was coming through 2 days ago when we did this energetic read. There's something to be said right now, and I keep on seeing that it feels a lot like a lot of the masculine energy right now. And I was reading into this last time, is working through, it's interesting because I'm almost picking up the fact that there's energetic volatility within the energy of masculine. And a lot of it has to do with energetic progress. And I feel like the reason I keep on hearing that there's something really fundamental in relationality to the headspace of the masculine and progress right now is the weight or the shape by which, and I keep on getting this, like I feel like, and this is what I keep on seeing with this ace of sword of wands in its reversal right now. I see the fact that there's masculine energy that is working on healing. And I keep on feeling like the hard part about that masculine energy is like whenever the masculine energy feels that there's something that occurs that damages the impact or the perception of masculine to feminine. I keep on seeing that it's almost like the energy of the masculine that feels that almost builds frustration towards their own energetic field point, because I kind of see the fact that it almost feels like the masculine energy working or acting in the space of spearhead, trying to articulate and define like what the shape of change is. And that's why I keep on hearing that like the difficulty point is almost feeling the association with other energy that feels like it rends the progress of the energy itself, is what I keep on hearing. It's almost like it's like it's wild because I was reading on this yesterday, like the day before when we were doing a lot of these energy updates. Like everything, the funny part about it was like all of the cards that I pulled in terms of feminine energy around masculine were in their upright, right? Like it's almost like there's a bunch of energy of masculine that is working through the fact that, and it's, I keep wondering, it's not the feminine energy is perfect, but that that a lot of the work, I feel like a lot of the work that masculine is doing in the journey of healing is being able to come towards feminine in a way that feminine does not fear masculine. And I keep on seeing that the space by which masculine has to navigate the reason, like I feel like this is masculine building into the heart of empathy towards feminine and understanding the energetic reason why feminine feels that way. Like I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, the word that's coming through is disambiguate, which is that I keep on seeing like the space by which another person says, like, you have a right to be upset. Like that modality or that experience is one that I feel like it's the space by which another person navigates. It's like navigating a mutual sense of frustration around circumstances or situations. Um, Now, I keep on seeing what's beautiful about that. And remember how I was saying that there's something about masculine energy I keep wondering, reaffirming what truly chivalrous energy means, because I keep on seeing chivalrous energy does not create heraldry. It's about the space of allowing context by which another person leads something. So I feel like there's a lot of the work of the masculine kind of doing that, working in that space right now. And I just keep on seeing the energy is doing something in such a way that it almost feels like, how do I describe this best? It's like they can't find the words to describe how they're feeling. So they're almost looking towards feminine for those words. Now getting into the headspace of the feminine, there we got the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles in its upright, the Eight of Swords in its upright, and the Ten of Swords in its upright. So it's almost like the feminine being like, "Oh, I got some words for you." It's like- and I think that there's something that's happening right now in relationality to feminine energy, and I keep on hearing the word that is healing in the context of feminine is the word alarming, is what I keep on seeing. Because, and it's interesting that the word that's coming through for masculine right now is disambiguous. It's disambiguating, right? Like the ability by which, and I feel like here, keep on hearing disambiguating in the space by which one is hoping to like separate from something that one feels energetically uncomfortable with. You know what I mean? Like I keep on seeing like there's a lot of that. So there's a lot of that disambiguation that's happening for masculine, while feminine, I keep on seeing like I feel like there's something that is very energetically stabilizing for feminine in relation. I keep wondering, the stabilizing point is the fact that they are not alarming, is what I keep on seeing. that I keep on seeing, and I keep on getting the same message in relationality to feminine, articulating and saying, when another person sees us energetically upset about something, and then what we're upset about feels like it's validated. So I feel like there's a lot of the feminine energy that is feeling the validation point as it relates to their own experiences. And this is the only thing I'm seeing for a lot of feminine energy that feels like it's somewhat triggering, but also like they're healing through the trigger. Is the feminine energy effectively like going through that process or going through that work of like it's like I don't want to say like I don't want to say that there's something there that the feminine I don't want to say the feminine here isn't saying I told you so, but the feminine energy is almost experiencing like I feel like this is like I feel like there's something about the feminine energy, and I like this because this is what I mean about like there being a bit of this bridge energy that's happening right now between masculine and feminine, being like do you understand like, and I feel like it's like it and it makes sense, right? Because like Pluto and Venus both being um in not in retrograde, along with Mars not being in retrograde right now, is like mutual, like again I need to point this out, masculine and feminine are effectively doing the work in sharing mutual disgust and outrage about something, is what I keep on seeing. And I keep on feeling like that in a certain extent is what is happening here, that is almost allowing, it's allowing for the context of like solid ground between them, like between the energy. Now moving towards non-binary energy right now, we've got the 2 of Cups in its reversal with, and this is really important, we've got the 10 of Swords that is also there. So this is falling very much into alignment with feminine energy because we're seeing similar cards here, as well as the King of Cups in its reversal. Now, this is really interesting because we almost see like the unified conversation that's happening right now between the frequencies in relationality to, and I keep on hearing it's a conversation on doing one's shadow work effectively, which is the space by which I keep on hearing, the space by which we energetically embrace our weird, is what I keep on seeing. And what's beautiful about that is, and I feel like there's something important that's happening in relationality to that conversation, because I see even now that for a lot of those who are working in the space of like I keep on hearing like facilitating or acting in those modalities of conversation. And remember too that when we were reading for this, there was like a conversation that was springing up in relationality to the dimensionality of love, to the dimensionality of conversations. I just keep on hearing the same message coming through in that frequency that articulates, it says, when we understand the dimensionality of ourselves, I keep on hearing, when we understand the dimensionality of ourselves, we embrace our uniqueness, and we remove all creepiness, is what I keep on hearing. That's what I effectively keep like that's exactly how it's coming through in the space, because it's the energy that articulates and says that when we embrace the dimensionality of ourselves, there's no room for creepiness, because there's nothing. I keep on hearing that, and this is what we're having or coming through about the ability to understand the self completely. Like when we do the work to understand ourselves, like I keep on hearing, it becomes more strange, but it becomes more energetically beautiful, because there's nothing energetically creepy there. And I feel like that's what's interesting, because I'm seeing like that is a lot of the work that we're currently going through right now with this retrograde process. It's like the difference between weird and creepy. And I keep on getting, there's nothing wrong. Like there's nothing wrong with weird as long as weird isn't creepy, because creepy is usually the disambiguation point in being weird but not owning it. It's like whose weird is this? I don't know. Like it's like and that's what we're seeing that's effectively going through right now in like the headspace of all the frequencies. Now let's move into the heart space of the energy right now. Can we please get 3 cards for masculine energy? Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. We've got the 9 of Spears in its reversal. This is really interesting because we're getting a lot of similarity here in the sign work. We've got the King of Swords in its upright, and we've also got the 9 of Swords okay, the so the 9 of wands in its reversal, the king of swords in its upright, the 9 of swords in its upright as well. The heart space right now, I feel like the heart space right now for masculine energy, there's a lot of sentimentality that's coming forth here. There's a lot of sentimentality that I'm identifying that's coming forth. And the reason we're seeing a lot of that emotionality or a lot of that sentimentality, as it were, is due to the fact I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy, like working through that modality or working through that experience, the ability to, and I keep on getting this now, like the ability to kind of work through, and look at this, I got to tell you, and it's interesting too because when we're talking about when we're talking about the relationship cycles right now, and it's really interesting because I'm already starting to pick this up. The headspace of all of the energy is in the moon lessons that we see that the energy right now that is navigating through and coming into like starting to build into like healing in solitude is working through. But the energy right now in the heart space is very much built upon temperance energy, which is a lot of the energy. Like I just keep on hearing they're working really hard to let go of, I keep on hearing they're doing their best not to attack the energetic past, but doing something in relationality to trying to build forward into a better energetic tomorrow is what I keep on seeing. And it's interesting because I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, the word that I keep on hearing is like, and it's interesting because I keep on hearing disambiguate, but also don't go there because the disambiguation and the not going there around something that we're effectively seeing is a lot of the energy. And I feel like, and like this is interesting because every time I read right now for masculine energy, it doesn't even feel like I keep wondering the conversation doesn't even feel like it's directed to feminine. It feels like a conversation with itself, is what I keep on like the energy is deep in hermit mode because often when you see when I start reading and I've got a conversation with the self, I'm like, this is the energy deep in hermit mode because it's the difference I keep on seeing, and I just keep on hearing the same message coming through over and over and over again in the heart of the masculine energy, which is again, a manifestation goal is one that is mutually shared by the self and those around the self. A manifestation goal is one that's mutually shared by the self and the energy around the self. A manifestation goal that is healthy is equally shared around the self and by all around, and like by everyone, like around the self. And that's what I keep on getting the continuation point in relationality to the difference between creepy and weird. Because I keep on seeing the space by which one is able to articulate upon. And this is why we do the work to heal our emotional selves. Because I keep on seeing that when we are in the space by which we navigate our emotions and we're able to articulate or speak upon those emotions with a sense of energetic liberty, I keep on seeing that that's the ability that allows for the landscape by which anything can occur and the possible can happen and the possible can be energetically beautiful. But it's often weird, right? It's often awful when we're building into manifestation goals that feel like, what does it feel like when you're navigating someone who has a manifestation goal that's not mutually shared? It feels energetically calculating, right? And so that's what I keep on getting. And I feel like there's something about building into, like there's something about a lot of the energy of the masculine that's working through this space of building into a point of appreciation. And I keep on saying, and this is why I keep on hearing that this is why the energy right now in the heart space is saying that they're doing the work so others don't have to, because it's the energy that effectively articulates and says doing the best to be able to speak upon what that ideal is, right? Being able to articulate and amplify and share the dream with others. I keep on seeing that that is the energy that feels that mutual modality of sharing that is energetically celebrated, right? And I keep on seeing, and what's hard about it is I keep on seeing, and we were reading kind of into this, a little bit of this glacier effect that's happening with some of the energy doing this work, which means like articulating upon something, speaking in modality of what it is that they aspire in partnership, and then right? Being able to find the composure, like I keep on hearing to hold, I keep on hearing to hold the opportunity. I keep on hearing to hold the energetic opportunity towards counterpart energy that effectively says and I keep on seeing and I almost feel like the energy almost saying to another, if I've gone too far, feel free to correct me. You know what I mean? Like there's this modality. There's something really like I keep on hearing there's something very gentle in the heart space of the masculine, because I keep on seeing the space by which they're working through that is the energy that says I'm trying to dare, I'm trying to dare to be more myself. But I also want to know, I want to amplify the fact that I'm daring, but I'm also caring in the space by which I'm trying to dare, is what I keep on hearing. It's like I keep on hearing daring to care, right? But I keep on hearing daring, but also like caring to dare is what I keep on hearing as well. Now, for the feminine in the heart space, can I please get 3 cards? Highest priority messages, please. 2, 3. Ba-bum. And again, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. I gotta pick these up. It's fine. All the non-binary cards hit the ground, but it's all right. We're gonna talk about this in a moment. We've got here the Hangman in its upright, the Justice card in its upright, and the Four of Cups. Now I have to stress this right now because the thing I keep on seeing for the thing I keep on seeing right now for feminine energy is, and I keep on, I got to stress this, and it's interesting too, because there's something, there's something really important and significant that we see that's happening right now for feminine energy in the modality and in the experience of navigating upon the space of, I keep on hearing the fortified emotions that are met with energetic, energetic belief is what I keep on seeing. And I keep on getting, this is the same message that I kept on reading for feminine energy. And I feel like this is really hard because I feel like in a way, feminine keeps on moving into the modality of education. And I keep on hearing it is the difference. I keep on hearing it is the difference. I keep hearing the difference between um, the difference between performative and authentic is the space by which we feel, I keep hearing the space by which we feel energetically mortified even as we move forward into something is what I keep on seeing. And I feel like this is really important right now because I feel like there's something really significant that's happening right now for feminine energy as it relates to other energy, to others, feeling the weight of others' perceptions upon them. And I feel like there's something really significant upon that, that almost it's interesting because it creates, I keep on saying, for a lot of the feminine energy, it's working through and I feel like this is what's happening with a lot of this retrograde. It's understanding, I just keep on getting the same messages coming through in the heart space with the feminine. And I know it's taking me a while to get it out, but this is why it's taking me a while to get it out. But it's like when someone has the wrong conception of you, do you ever notice nothing you can do is the right thing to do? Right? Like when someone has decided that they want to perceive you incorrectly, you could literally walk on water and they would yell at you for getting the floor wet. Is what I keep on saying. This is the energy. This is the kind of stuff that I keep on seeing right now that's happening with feminine energy. That is the type of this is what I mean. There's an eye roll that I keep on getting right now for feminine energy because it works through the power. It's like working through the power of another person's projections. And it's like, it's one of those things like, and this is literally how you can usually identify and articulate the shape by which another person is projecting something onto you, which is like anything you do fits the energetic narrative of what they achieve on the other side of it, right? Like it's like, this is the frustration that often the feminine needs to operate in, which is there's no escaping another person's projections, because when somebody is so in their own ego in relationality to what they energetically want to perceive in you, then it doesn't matter if you do something, like I keep on getting, if you do something that is even antithetical to that belief, then they'll articulate and say, oh, you see, that's performative, right? Like, you see how convenient it is. It's a lot of that modality by which we see that the feminine, like, often like gets so frustrated because it's the shape by which navigating other people's projections is like, it's impossible. Okay. It's impossible. And I'm just here to tell you, if you're navigating that, that's usually the modality by which you just move away from it. It's what you just let your feet do the healing. Like, let your feet do the healing. And I feel like, in a way, this is what some of the energy of the feminine is working through. And I keep on seeing, and I feel like it's and I think it's interesting, because I almost feel like some of I feel like the feminine energy is kind of is like working into that. It's like, almost like I keep on hearing through via their own energetic history. I keep on seeing it's almost serving as like a point. I keep on seeing, like, I feel like, again, this is what I meant about masculine and feminine kind of working through something and being like it's the amplification of being able to understand one another in relationality to, like, work, like I'm hearing, like, in relationality to the context or the frustration that we often have for the self. So I feel like what's interesting about that is, like, I feel like there's a lot of that conversation there. But I keep on seeing, like, I keep wondering, like, this is a sound of the feminine doing the best they can, right? And then I keep wondering the sound of the feminine doing the best they can. And then I keep on seeing if they're navigating another person's projections, even in the space by which it feels like they're doing something energetically remarkable. Like, I keep on hearing, like, they're allowing the context by which I keep on hearing I keep hearing they're observing it instead of, I keep wondering, they're observing it instead of, I keep wondering, instead of disassembling upon it, is what I keep on seeing. And it's funny because I keep on seeing masculine is in the modality of disassembling right now in a positive way. Feminine is working through the energy of assembling, right? And I keep wondering, assembling the heart space or working into the space of feeling energetically whole within that modality. Now let's get back to the non-binary energy. Hold on, I gotta pick up all these cards. But I think that there's something very important about the fact that we saw a lot of those, like, we heard that, like, I feel like we heard that, like, boom, like, we had that modality by which, and I think I think it's interesting because, and I was reading for this on the energy, like on this energy, like like yesterday, because I almost feel that, like, the energy, like, it's funny too, because I think, to a certain extent, from the heart space of the energy in this modality right now, we've got the full card in its reversal, the three of pentacles in its reversal, and also the 10 of pentacles in its upright. And I feel like there's something in relation, and this was coming through yesterday or 2 days ago when we were doing the same reading, in relationality to navigating. And I just keep, it's so interesting, because every time I go to read for the non-binary energy, I just keep on hearing the same thing, which is like, when we're so busy building into energetic separation, we never have a conversation on dimensionality, is what I keep on hearing. I keep on hearing, when there are sides to things, we never have a dimensional conversation. It becomes, I keep on hearing, like, there's like a little bit, I think it's interesting because, like, for the energy, like, there's a little bit of this, like, yawn approach that often happens in the space. I keep on hearing, like, in the space of feeling, I keep on hearing feeling the need to have to introduce someone to the concept of the self is what I keep on seeing. There's like it's like it's almost like the energy that's moving into the modality or the perception of trying to amplify or articulate upon, I keep on seeing, upon energetic concepts is what I keep on seeing. And I keep on hearing it's like the mentality or the modality of like navigating through the limitation point upon, I keep on hearing like the limitation point upon how we feel, like the frustration that we often feel to energetically conform into things instead of being able to articulate or amplify the beauty of everything is what I keep on getting. And I think it's really interesting because um, there's something that I see that's happening right now in the heart space that almost says like I feel like, how do I describe this? Um, it's like the energy itself feels much more comfortable in the space of being able to describe something like within their own experience that feels like it energetically eludes them is what I keep on seeing. And I feel like that's, and I keep on hearing like that's why there's, I feel like there's, for a lot of the energy in this modality, there's something very, very very, very, like, I keep on hearing they hold themselves somewhat apart because I keep on seeing the reason that the energy holds themselves apart is because they're effectively articulating and saying, I don't want to be the testing ground for another person's confused feelings, is what I keep on seeing. Right. I literally hear the energy saying, like, I am not a testing ground. I am not a place for you to introduce yourself to see how something energetically feels. It's like I keep on hearing like a lot of this energy is almost articulating to counterpart. Come whole or come at do not come at all. Like know yourself or don't know yourself. I am not here to help you introduce yourself to yourself is what I keep on seeing. And so there's a little bit of that energy there. And it's interesting because I almost see the energy that kind of has boxing gloves on in situations, right? I feel like in a way, there's a little bit of this energy that feels that vibration by which, and I need to point this out, like by which they're pushing others away. But I keep on seeing like the space by which the space by which they're pushing others away right now in the heart space is, it feels like, I keep wondering, it feels energetically protective because I keep on seeing the energy almost saying like, and I saw this the other day, like almost facilitating and saying that they don't, like it's like the energy that articulates or gets exhausted by, I keep on hearing these are energies right now that are healing from another person. Like, I keep on, and I feel like, especially because I was saying that there was a lot of energy feeling like they were pedestalized, like working into the concept of another person saying, I want you to recognize that I have feelings too, right? And I keep on hearing like the space by which they're articulating that their feelings are not a curiosity. There's something to be, I keep hearing there's something to be held with, I keep wondering there's something to be held with energetic reverence, but I keep on getting in the same modality or the same experience. I feel like there's a little bit of this exhaustion that they often have in relationality to seeing them. Like I keep on hearing in relationality to seeing them as, I keep on hearing like seeing them as something that is energetically like curious instead of something that another person commits themselves to entirely. Now the final, the bottom, like getting into the lower third here of our readings. So moving deeper into the unconscious space right now, masculine energy. Can I get 3 cards, please? 3 cards. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. We've got the 8 of Cups in its upright, the 7 of Swords in its upright, and the 8 of Coins. Man. The thing I gotta say right now with a lot of, I keep on hearing, the thing I keep on seeing with a lot of the masculine energy right now is And I feel like the thing I keep on identifying here, the and it's all the temperance energy. It is all the temperance energy that I